Look at this dude. Wait till you see the. No, 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 no.
They fired the directors halfway through production, so there's no way it's gonna be good. And with The Last Jedi dividing audiences, the whole dialogue around Star Wars right now isn't super great. Despite all that, here's how Solo, a Star Wars story, could save the franchise, or at the very least be better than people expect. Maybe you're gonna like it. First reason that Solo is gonna be a good movie is this guy right here. Donald Glover is the king of all things. He's one of those guys where if you go on his Wikipedia page, they make you go to another page for all his awards.
Oh, he tried it.
Wow. So here we are again. Well, we called it. We knew it from the beginning. We told them we were going to strike back. Fans were going to strike back. They didn't listen. They did not want to listen. But today is our victory day. From this flop of a film, we can finally celebrate and give the big middle fingers to Disney. That's right, folks. Return of the Jedi, return of the true Star Wars fans. Oh my God, I can just imagine what all these shows are going through right now. Oh man, it's delicious. All the videos they're making right now trying to defend this movie. All the videos they made beforehand saying that this movie was gonna bust box office records in its first weekend. Nope. Oh my God, they're so dumb. They're wondering why it failed right now. They're actually wondering why it failed. They're so freaking stupid. It's like, how many times can we tell them all the shit that they did wrong? Excuse me, but it just pisses me off. How many times can you tell a certain group of people, like, yo, this is what you're doing wrong? And they're like, really? Nah, it couldn't be that. It couldn't be that. It must be you. It must be you, the fans, who watch this series all the time. It must be you who's wrong. Psst, get out of here. We're not wrong for making Lando some kind of sexual deviant. We're not wrong for killing off Han Solo in our films. We're not wrong for making Luke Skywalker a little bitch. Like, no, we're not wrong for that. You're wrong for not being a wimp and just not caving in and accepting this franchise the way it is now. Like, just, oh man, it hurts my head to think about. But here are the top 5 reasons why Disney and its movies suck and they are failing. Number 5, lying to George Lucas and the fans about what they were going to do with the franchise. Okay? Bob Iger pledged to keep the franchise in all of its glory and to stay true to the franchise. You know,
George Lucas is a true visionary and an innovative epic storyteller who has defined modern filmmaking with unforgettable characters and amazing stories. The Star Wars universe now has more than 17,000 characters inhabiting several thousand planets and spanning 20,000 years. And this gives Disney infinite inspiration and opportunities to continue the epic Star Wars saga. Fans can expect a new feature film, Star Wars Episode 7, in theaters worldwide in 2015. And there will be more feature films, as well as consumer products, television projects, games, and theme park attractions. We're thrilled that George has entrusted the future of his extraordinary legacy to the Walt Disney Company and recognize what an honor it is. We truly understand the responsibility that comes with being the caretakers of such iconic characters that are beloved by hundreds of millions all over the world.
Wrong.
That is absolutely
Wrong.
proved over and over again.
Wrong.
He actually
you actively lied to fans when you said that you were going to preserve Star Wars for generations to come. You lied to George Lucas when he said that you were going to preserve the franchise and maybe have him involved in sort of like a passive role or advisory capacity for future films. So you lied to the fans about that. You rebooted the EU. I can't stress enough how much this is contributing to all this garbage that's going on right now. You don't take 40 years of a franchise and decide, a franchise's backstory, and you say, you know what, I'm going to nuke like at least 90% of it, yeah, and not use it. But then I'm going to change my mind like 2 years from now and reuse bits and pieces of the stuff that I thought was garbage. Books? Who reads those? Really? Like, you want to know why Marvel is doing so well right now and Star Wars is not? It's because Marvel pays attention to source material. Marvel actually pays attention to its source material for the most part. Some of their stuff recently has not. Well, I know for one, their comics have been absolute garbage. Their comics have been garbage lately, but their movies, in terms of their movies, the movies have been dynamite. They made some changes, but I feel like within the context of the story, some of these changes were necessary. The only things I didn't like were the changes they made to Spider-Man, and the Hulk is kind of like a jobber now. He's kind of getting beaten around for no reason. It's pretty stupid to me. But anyway, I discussed that in my previous video. But anyway, you don't insult a fan base that has followed this franchise loyally for 40-something years, read all the books, done all this and that, and finally they're like, oh snap, we might get a new movie, and then you're like, nah, I'll just let you down again, and just not give you that movie that you've been anticipating for all this time. Instead, I'll give you a rehash of episode 4. Alright. And thirdly, injecting identity politics into everything. Let's see. Let's count the ways. The Force is suddenly female. Lando is a pansexual, sexual deviant, whatever. Luke could be gay, apparently. Let's see. Just overall, just changing, recharacterizing established characters. It's just nonsense. And you wonder why these films fail. Han Solo is some kind of beta soy boy now. And it's just like, come on, man. We have feminist droids lecturing us, the fans, apparently, on how to not be overly chauvinistic.
SJWs get their droid because, of course they do, because Kathleen Kennedy is in charge of Lucasfilm, and everything has to be agenda-driven, and gender-driven, and SJW-driven, and politically driven, because why else would you make a Star Wars movie other than to just make political statements? Your lack of respect for a galaxy far, far away is unbelievable. It's off the charts. But let's talk about L337, the new female droid in Solo, a Star Wars story. And of course, right on cue, political statements just all around this droid. Political statements, gender statements, it's all here because this is what Kathleen Kennedy's Star Wars is. It's a social justice soapbox that they spent $4 billion for. So, this is from the LA Times, and it says, the droid, L337, is a self-building robot who has taken pieces of other droids to create and improve herself. And yes, she's a female droid, but not a stereotypical one. There's a kind of gruffness to her that I loved. The screenwriters, in creating her, avoided all the usual tropes of when there's a lady version of something. She's not sassy, and she doesn't skip anywhere.
Excuse me. Get your presumptuous ass out of my seat. Ugh.
She doesn't try to seduce anyone. She's a fiercely independent and funny and energetic.
Ugh, my sacral occipital circuit is sticking. You're gonna have to do that thing again later.
Yeah.
All right, course to Kessel is set. Plugging coordinates in now. Just keep your pinky on the yoke and try not to mess anything up.
Whatever you say, my lady. Just let me know when you're ready to jump.
Ready and... Ready.
It's just a simple jump to hyperspace and we're there? What's so tricky about that?
Plenty. Can't plot a direct course to Kessel. You have to thread through the psychotic cluster and then pass through the maelstrom.
You done flirting? I'm still ready.
You might want to buckle up, baby.
I said that all wrong. Point is, she's fiercely independent and funny and energetic. Oh my god, like, just make a Star Wars movie. Leave your nonsense out. You want to have a female droid, go for it. Why do you have to make statements with the droid? Why are you making these statements?
We came to see a freaking Star Wars movie, man. It's not that hard to make a Star Wars movie. Like, honestly, if you kept the original material instead of rebooting everything, you would have been more successful. People want an EU movie. They wanted an Old Republic movie. They wanted a movie about Luke and the new Jedi Order and the New Republic. They wanted that, and now they're not going to get it because Luke dies like a sorry punk in The Last Jedi. You're not going to get it. And you're also not gonna you're not gonna see Abeloth on screen. You're not gonna see all these cool villains that the EU had to offer. You're not gonna see them anymore. You're gonna see a watered down version of them, maybe if they rip off the EU and bring them back. But you're not gonna see the characters you grew up with. And number two, you're just outright distancing yourself from your core audience. Like, what audience wants to be lectured to? How can you, as Kathleen Kennedy, say, you know what? We don't need to cater to white men. We don't need to cater to men in general, even though this is a predominantly male franchise. Men have always flocked to this story. I mean, yeah, there might be a few girls in there, yeah. But overall, this is, Star Wars was always a masculine story. It was always a male obsession. I mean, they had strong female characters in the story, but of course you're going to be like, oh, well, she wasn't feminist enough. So, yeah, just It's just freaking stupid, man. Anyway, you distance yourselves by castigating or just casting off the core fan base, and it's really ridiculous. Like, why? Why would you ever do that? If I were I'm telling you, I could run Disney's ownership of Star Wars better than they are right now. Honestly, if oh man, if I was in charge of Star Wars, dude, shoot, Disney should just like hire me right now. Just hire me, and I'll fix this whole problem. Really. But it's just like you don't do that. You don't tell fans that have been following a franchise for 40 years that, oh well, your stuff is no longer canon, and you don't like it. Screw you, tough. And you also don't tell fans that have been following this franchise for like 40 years that they're suddenly racist, sexist, whatever, homophobes, just because they don't agree with the direction you're taking this movie. Because you don't like a movie, all of a sudden you're afraid of women. You're afraid of women. You have to respect women. No. Like, how many women were in Star Wars that were important? We only really needed like a couple strong female characters, and we had them. Yeah. We had them. And they weren't just there just because, they were just there for just being on screen as an extra set of, female genitalia on screen. No. So to call us racist, sexist, or whatever, to berate your audience, I mean, come on, that's distancing yourself from the people that buy your product. That's stupid. They're not going to see your movies. They're not. And if you blame the film's failings on the fans that see the movie, they're not going to want to see it. Are you kidding me? And of course, the number one reason why Solo and Disney Wars in general is failing is because you recharacterize all of these well-established characters like Lando, Luke, Han, and freaking Leia. It's just mind-blowing just how warped these characters are. Yoda, even. It's just like Yoda suddenly is just like, he doesn't care about the ancient knowledge of the Jedi. His Force Ghost can summon lightning, and Luke dies from projecting an illusion. Oh, it's too much. It's too much power to be exerted. Really? And they said the EU was trash. These shills have the nerve. Like, honestly, I can't right now. I can't celebrate enough that this Solo is flopping. I can't celebrate it enough. It's just too good. Oh, man. I just love it when these companies get their just desserts. Maybe they'll finally listen to the active fans. Maybe they'll finally listen to the fan base that has been carrying this franchise for decades. We want the EU. We want it to be an alternate universe continued. We want Sword of the Jedi, the book that we were promised but never got. We want you to continue Star Wars Legends with none of that political nonsense that you guys are trying to. You know what? Maybe it's best that they don't continue Star Wars Legends. Maybe it's best that SOTOR is all we have right now. Yeah? Maybe it's best that just everything Star Wars just flops for a little bit. Maybe it's for the best, honestly. Because I'm sure if they ever made an Old Republic movie, they would find a way to screw that up too. They would find a way to make it all about what your skin tone is, or all about what your sexuality is, are all about just like animal rights or like veganism or some liberal crap that they would choose to insert in there, like they did in The Last Jedi. Maybe it's for the best. I don't know, because like honestly, we just want a good story with these classic characters. We want our own separate timeline. It's very simple what we want. Yeah, and it's like, you know, every time you tell one of these shows that, well, you're not gonna get it, the EU is dead. I'm like, screw you, dude. Yeah, they could do whatever they want, and they choose not to give the fans what they want. They could anytime. It's nonsense. Anyway, I'm enjoying this. You know, just my 2 cents on this whole issue. I will be coming out with another video soon. Keep your eyes peeled. I am just glad this is all backfiring. You know, I'm selling these Star Wars Legends Never Die. Still selling them, these hoodies and t-shirts and products, whatever. I'm still selling them. You know, feel free to check it out. Made a little bit of a profit, but you know, every little bit helps. You know, just want to thank you guys for your support. And screw Disney Wars, man. I mean, like, screw them. I am just glad this is all blowing up. Anyway, that's your boy Kos. Check out the link in the description if you want to get your hands on some of this cool merch. It's a really cool looking hoodie. I would wear it. Matter of fact, I'm about to order some. Peace.